It's funny how things change over time. Even just a simple reflection of my childhood. As a child, I was taught to express my talents in a big group of people. However, be humble enough to know that you're no better than anyone else. There's a contradiction for a long time being a kid, from playing the piano to dancing to singing to getting good grades. I had to excel and be the star in all those things. But growing up, I was made to believe that if I shined brighter than anyone else, I'm a show off. So I need to also be humble and modest. And so that created a conflict about who I wanted to be in a really weird way, that I reflect on now, how it's made me who I am today. I was taught that if you go and get good grades, you get an education, preferably a degree at a university, and preferably being a lawyer, an accountant, a doctor, that would exude excellence and success. And much to my parents' chagrin, I end up getting a degree, but not going into accounting, going into something called marketing. And back in the late 90s, that was not what it is today. But it was a disappointment. I remember it being a disappointment, but it was what I was good at. And it was what I understood. And I had to get through my degree. I had to pass. And I had to do it in something that I knew I could excel at. That was my quote unquote sacrifice to getting my degree, was to go into something that maybe was a disappointment. After university, I ended up getting a job with one of the major banks, and that was just a dream. Like, right after I got my degree, I was throwing out resumes everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. I was good at sales because I had worked at a retail store part-time while I was in school. So I understood sales and marketing, right? And I was hired at the bank. And back then they had this banking concept where bankers would go up and down the aisles of a grocery store and talk about the bank, which was in the grocery store. I'm like, it's a bank. You know what, I'm just gonna work this. And much to my surprise, I was actually pretty good at it, but it was really scary because I was going up to random strangers and just starting up a conversation about something they probably did not see coming. But I did it, and I was proud. I was proud to be part of this organization, this corporation. And as time went on, I got promoted and ended up being in a management position really soon after. I think it was through attrition, really, not necessarily through my experience, but it doesn't really matter. I stayed in a management position for 20 years. But over the course of the years, I stayed true and loyal and very hardworking for this bank because I was so proud. I was so proud to be in a bank, much less in a manager position. And it was a lot to do with making sure that I made up for the fact that I went into marketing instead of accounting. That I almost failed out of university. I did it, and now I'm a manager, so there you go. But as I realized working at the bank, I realized that it wasn't as successful, and I would say as successful as I thought it would be. Make me feel successful as I thought it would. I started to see people who came into the bank that didn't have degrees, that really didn't care about their job. They actually just wanted to climb the corporate ladder, to do anything to do that. And I'm not sure if it still exists, but we're finding people in management positions back then, at least, that were in management positions because they had really good attainment of their targets, not because they were good at managing. And I'm one to say I really got my management position through attrition. However, I grew a lot in that position as a manager, and I learned a lot. But what I learned was I learned a lot about who I didn't want to be as a manager. Anyways, as I just stumbled upon my career at the bank, I started to realize that the bankers don't really have a great reputation. At least I saw in the 20 years, and that's a long time things can change in 20 years. Over the course of time, I realized that a lot of bankers had a reputation, or at least they thought they had a reputation. We became salespeople, not advisors, as much as our titles showed that we were financial advisors or financial services managers. We were salespeople. We sold the bank's products. That's what we were hired to do. We were accountable to the shareholders. And as much as we wanted to say we were accountable to the clients, it's unfortunate that we didn't have the training We didn't have the training to teach us how to be relationship builders. So a lot of people struggle with working at the bank because they didn't sign up to be a salesperson. They signed up to help people. And the banks, and again, it's been about 5 or 6 years since I've been outside of the bank, but the banks are struggling to want to be more people focused. And they're finding it hard to do that, especially when you have a hard time keeping people. And so I started to reflect on the different types of roles that I've encountered while being at the bank. I encountered realtors, I encountered mortgage brokers, or I should say mortgage advisors, insurance people. And I started to think we're very much alike in the sense that our reputations as a whole between the 4 groups of people like us, they preceded us. Before somebody walked in to see a banker, they really got their back up. I felt like a lot of the time when they came in to do some sort of a consultation, whatever it was, maybe they needed a mortgage, maybe they needed help with their RSPs, they came in as if they were going to be getting a shot from a doctor or being asked to get naked in front of a doctor, very vulnerable and feeling very scared and skeptical as to what we were going to talk about, how we were going to make them feel. And you know what? I could probably say with certainty, that's how people feel when they apply for mortgages. They're scared. Maybe they won't get it. This is how people feel when they talk to their financial advisor because they're not sure if they're going to be able to have enough money. This is how people feel when they walk into a bank. They're afraid of the person across them not knowing as much as they do because they're, 20 years old, just out of school. Insurance. So many people disregard insurance because they feel like, I don't need it. The car insurance industry, people feel like they're just a commodity that you can just trade and get the cheapest price and you're good. But once an accident happens, you realize, this company didn't explain this to me. So we walk into these situations where it's so important for us to be proactive, confident, wanting to learn, but also humble enough to know that we're not the experts. We walk in there with guns rearing and our back up, and I'm like, they're not going to sell me anything. And that's what we've become. So as I reflect back on who I've become, I simply did this. I put myself in the position of the person I was there to help a client. And I truly realized how they felt because I'll be honest, I didn't come from a rich family. My parents didn't know much about money, let alone the Canadian financial system. They were both immigrants. They don't teach financial education in school. And what do you think that says about everybody I hung out with? There are much more important things to think about. But it got me to realize that I'm no different than them, right? I know exactly how they feel. When I walk onto a car lot looking for a car, the first thing you want to say when someone comes onto the car lot is, I'm just looking. Because I've already conditioned myself to think this person's out to get me. And that's how a lot of people feel about people in the industry of finance or selling homes. So I'm here really just as a human being to explain to you, I know you, I see you, I got you. And I know exactly how you feel because I'm there too. I'm not swimming in cash. I have debts just like you. I've been through financial trauma just like you. But I guess the difference between me and you is that I'm constantly looking for ways to fix it. And that's going to benefit you too, because I'm in the space of advising people with their finances, giving them the best insurance advice for them, working with mortgage brokers to make sure their clients are not just getting a mortgage, but they're getting a relationship, which would in turn help realtors who have great mortgage brokers to retain their clients for when they buy their next home or their forever home or make a referral. So understanding what it's like to be broke, to be in debt, to be unsettled about my financial future is what I have to offer. And knowing that everyone's different. Everyone has different needs. Everyone has different perspectives. I cannot sell one solution to everybody. The solution is actually different for everybody. And so as I reflect on my career as a 20-year ex-bank manager, I realize that being myself is one of the biggest assets, and it's one of the biggest gifts I could probably provide to someone, because it's got me to realize that I don't have to shine or outshine in my space. I don't have to hit certain targets like I used to be accountable to in the bank. I don't have to hit certain targets to be recognized and rewarded. Really, the biggest fulfillment I have is truly being able to help somebody understand how to get financially ahead. That is the biggest gift I could get, and that would make me feel like immense success. This daughter of an immigrant family who barely got by university, who didn't choose the line of work that maybe her parents might have wanted her to, who really just wants to learn every day about herself and the people that she surrounds herself with. That's who you're getting. So I hope that through learning and working with me, you find that person in yourself. Find ways that you can shine, not the way other people have told you that you should shine, but the way you feel more aligned to yourself, your values, your beliefs, and then being okay with that and not feeling any guilt. But I'm going to tell you, this is going to be work. It's work. It's not physical work. It's a lot of work up here and a lot of work here, because you're going to be coming at crossroads where it doesn't feel right to you, but you're being told something else. You've been conditioned a certain way for so long that you're going to have to take a different road, and you have to be okay with that. But you know that it's more aligned with your values and how you want to treat people and how you want to treat your family and how you just want to be yourself. So I hope that you find success, whatever that looks like. I hope that one day we cross paths and we're able to work with each other. And I'm excited. I'm excited to hear your story about how you turned your role in your job, in your business, into something that you can be 100% proud of and feel good about. I got you.